What was that, Ben?
Like Godzilla.
Very good.
Insert sound.
Insert sound. Yeah. How's that hanging YouTube? Peter here, your Ginger Joy the Geek. Welcome to What If. I'm joined as ever by my co-hosts, James T. Keegan and the attention-seeking geek, Ben himself. How are you doing, gentlemen?
Ew.
Ew. Ben,
Oh,
how are you?
hey.
Oh, that's new. That's different. I like that.
Mm.
So tonight we're going to be talking about Godzilla, but we're not going to be doing it alone. We're being joined by one of our other colleagues, but first time, I believe, on What If, we've got Simon.
Hey, how
Whoa.
we doing?
Not so bad, mate. Not so bad. How are you, Simon? Are you well?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Yeah.
Are you nervous?
Yeah. I mean, what if?
Good. Good. You should be. You should be. Yeah. We expect a certain standard on this show, as I'm sure you'll have seen before.
Yeah.
Jason Parker normally manages to lower it, but we do have certain standards.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting
Benchmark was up there, and then Jason Parker came on and leveled things out quite considerably. So,
I'll give it my best. I'll give it my best. That's all I can do.
Good man. Good man. So tonight we are here to talk about I love that. So, gentlemen, are you Godzilla fans?
Yep. Not very lively tonight. Everyone's like,
come on,
Ben,
now.
are you a Godzilla fan?
Yes, there's a bear shit in the woods. I love me some Godzilla. I've recently kind of had a bit of a resurgence of obsession with him. Like I tend to kind of do this with a lot of like franchises where I'll sort of I've always loved it, you know, since I was kind of a kid or whatever, but I'll dip in and out and get really kind of passionate about something for like a year and then kind of, you know, forget about it for a couple of years and then go back. And yeah, Godzilla, I've recently sort of done that with Shin Godzilla, sort of stirred something in me. And I've gone back and revisited all my sort of favorite Heisei stuff. And yeah.
What about you, James?
Yeah, I love Godzilla. I'm a big fan of monster movies. He's the ghost, I think, in that department. So yeah, no, I you know, one of the only set of movies from like the 50s that I will sit down and watch. You know, and even the US one, I didn't like hate. I remember as a kid watching that, like quite enjoying it. So yeah, it's a character I've always liked and a universe I've always enjoyed.
Yeah, Simon, you the same?
Yep.
Good.
So I love Godzilla, but I'm trying to remember, and I was just trying to Google search because I can't remember names. You know me.
He's the big lizard.
Yes, I know that. I know the big lizard.
Not the hairy one. Not the hairy one.
I used to love Godzilla, but I'm trying to remember what was the cartoon with the
Godzilla.
Yeah, but he had like a little kid one, didn't he?
Godzilla.
Just Godzilla cartoon.
Godzilla the series.
Godzilla animated series. There you go.
Yeah. But I have watched the anime one as well. There's an anime Godzilla on Netflix. I love it.
Oh, I've seen that one.
Yeah,
it's a trilogy of them, isn't there?
Yeah, there's 3 of them anime ones. Planet of the Monsters, it's called.
Okay. So, like I said, talking about Godzilla, Ben's done with some slides.
What about you, Peter? Do you have a history with the king?
I do. So, but again, I remember Godzilla from, as Simon said, Godzilla and Godzuki. But it's a bit like, I think we were talking about He-Man a while ago. It's a bit like I can remember the characters and I can remember loving them, but I probably couldn't give you any detail of the cartoon itself. I do remember watching all of the old black and white ones back in the day when they were on late night TV and stuff. And I am a bit of a fan of the recent stuff. I do like the Monsterverse. I loved Kong versus Godzilla and all that kind of stuff. Me and my son have been to the cinema and seen each of those ones in succession, and I love them. I think they just switch the brain off fun, you know?
Yeah.
So, like I said, Ben has done with some slides. So, Ben, do you want to talk through some of this?
Yeah, so I've just done a little breakdown of the different eras for people that aren't kind of fully initiated into the sort of Godzilla verse. So the eras are mostly sort of named after the Japanese kind of emperor, sort of the ruling in Japanese at the time. They usually have like names for the period, and the names all like reflect like peace and prosperity, or they all mean different things. You can look into it. But the Showa era was obviously from the 1954 sort of original up until maybe I want to say sort of 70s, maybe even
Right.
sort of 70s era. So obviously you've got the original, which I think is still an absolute work of art. Like I think it's just unbelievable. And then it kind of slowly sort of morphed Godzilla into the hero type character, and then you got like Son of Godzilla, and then he's dancing, and and then he sort of went away for a little period, and then we got the Heisei era, which is probably my kind of favorite era, I'd say. So the Heisei era was sort of throughout the 90s, and that sort of saw kind of Godzilla versus like King Ghidorah and versus Biollante and Destroyer and things like that. And then the MonsterVerse kind of sits separately a bit, and we'll speak in a second about the 98 movie, which definitely sort of sits by itself. So other than that, you have the Millennium era, which the Millennium era sort of came to counteract the 98 film. It was kind of a bit of a this is how you do it, and there's some pretty bonkers films as part of that, and then again he went away for a period of time, and then we got the Shin Godzilla, which kind of kicked off the Reiwa era, which includes sort of the Netflix stuff that Simon's mentioned and things like that as well. So I think everyone's kind of got the era that they lean into more than others, but for me it's the Heisei.
So I think for me, it's a Heisei as well. I have to say, I haven't seen any of the Shin Godzilla stuff yet. I need to get on that.
So Shin Godzilla, and I mentioned it kind of, sort of brought out of hibernation my love for Godzilla, because it does exactly what the 54 film did. Godzilla is a monster. He's scary in that film. He's scary what he can do. He very much kind of symbolizes a lot of the fears that Japan had. Obviously, you got the sort of nuclear symbolism, but more recently, with the earthquakes of I think it was 2014 or something. So a lot of the scenes in that Shin Godzilla kind of reflect the scenes from the news when that all happened, and the whole thing is kind of a bit of a commentary on like bureaucracy and the kind of bureaucracy and red tape of government, and how long it kind of takes to get, like, there's a point where they have one meeting and then they'll go into another room and have the same meeting. Like it's almost kind of like satirical in a lot of respects as well, but the end message is fairly positive, and they kind of eventually get these kind of wallflower scientists to sort of save the day. So
and is that on Netflix at the moment?
No. I had to source it other ways, but I honestly could not. If I was going to recommend any Godzilla film, it would be that and the 54 original.
How about you, James? You got any favorites from there? Anything that you've kind of tapped into?
I really, and this is probably like recency bias, but I really love the MonsterVerse ones, and as a huge Kong fan, I think they've nailed that kind of that conflict, and it's one of the only kind of cinematic universes outside of Marvel that has actually worked, because they just made a set of good movies. But it's Showa. The original is up there for me. I haven't watched a lot of the kind of more recent ones, but I'm a fan of the original as well. Anyway,
Simon, how about you?
For me, obviously the anime version. I prefer that, but MonsterVerse as film versions go, because he's got the King of Monsters, and I just like when he's battling Ghidorah and things like that. I do respect the Heisei era and things like that. I do I do like to see those old trilogies, and I think the Millennium one was a bit weird, because there was one where he went out in space, or there was a space Godzilla, so that was a bit.
Oh, he went to space in Showa era.
In the
like
Showa one, yeah. And
Oh,
he,
yeah.
but he like, yeah, there was one where I think he mutated and he could like fly through outer space. To me, that's a bit unrealistic. I like the story of the Shin and the MonsterVerse, you know.
Which is the one where he fights the US like 1998 Godzilla.
So there's
that Generations or
Godzilla
something?
GSK, I think it's called, All
Yeah,
Monsters Attack. It's like, and they literally just threw everything in the kitchen sink. And yeah, one of the monsters is called Zilla, which is basically they use the American because they technically kind of owned that as well. So my favorite. So I'm interested to know what everyone's favorite antagonist is. So mine is I've got the poster there, but Biollante, the daughter's spirit mixed with a flower and Godzilla's DNA to create this horrific monster thing.
Very romantic.
Honestly, it's such a good story. Like it's silly and kind of ridiculous, but it's such a good. Like it's one that is probably my third favorite film, I think, behind Shin and 54. But yeah, mine's Biollante. What about you guys?
I don't know the names of them, Ben. I like the one with the three heads.
The one with the teeth.
Ghidorah.
That's
Ghidorah, yeah.
I like
Ghidorah.
Ghidorah's mine, I think, as well. I think that's the
And
scariest.
I seem to remember back when I was watching the old black and white versions and fighting like Mothra, the giant moth thing and stuff like that initially. That was quite good.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Mothra's a big player.
Then there's the bird one, the Firebird, coming out the volcano. Rodan, that's my favorite. Yeah.
Good stuff.
So here is Zilla. So the 98 film, obviously Matthew Broderick's kind of bumbling character, and I think the controversy around this film is that they basically sort of interpret they didn't take anything of Godzilla really. Like this could be any old kind of monster film because he's essentially a kind of lost animal in this film rather than that kind of godlike, kind of sometimes vengeful, sometimes heroic kind of presence. Whereas this was just a kind of a monster, and he's very susceptible to like the military attacks in this. Like he's not like indestructible or anything like that. And obviously they had the whole birth thing where he like sexually produces lots of eggs, and they just tried to rip off Jurassic Park basically in those scenes. And but I'm similar to you, James. Like this holds so much kind of nostalgic value for me. Like this was my entry into Godzilla, because basically I went to see this at the film, blew my mind, absolutely loved it, as you would as a 12-year-old or whatever. And then I went and got like the VHSs of the Heisei stuff. So that was kind of my Godzilla journey sort of starting. And credit where credit's due. I still think that the design of this is incredible, and in some of the shots, that was really well done and things. But it's not got a lot of love, I don't think, in the Godzilla.
I guess I hear what you're saying about it not being Godzilla, if you know what I mean. But I have to say I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. I remember watching that and really liking it and thinking there was some great action scenes in it, and I thought it was kind of
good cast.
Yeah. The media.
Yeah, so obviously you got the Godzilla cartoon, which was a spin-off from the film, and that actually gets a lot of credit for improving on a lot of the stuff the film got wrong. So like they kind of decide to give him the proper atomic breath, and basically every episode he goes up against a different kaiju, and apparently it's quite good. I've not revisited it. I remember watching it as a kid, and then obviously you got the original OG 80s kind of cartoon underneath there, which I'm sure Peter will remember better than any of us lot. And then the comics, and Peter's got his displayed in the background there.
Yeah, I think I've got 2 copies of it, but I couldn't find the other one. But yeah,
it's on its way in the post to me.
Is this?
Godzilla's also notorious for bad video games. Like there was one on the PS3, widely considered one of the worst games ever made. Most of them are like fighting games, so it'd be like you're Godzilla and you fight, Biollante or whatever, like Tekken style in his city.
The recent one's good, isn't it? The All Monsters Attack or something. That PS4.
Well, I know that the last one I remember is the PS3 one. I'm not sure about All Monsters Attack, but yeah, they are like.
I think that one's good, PS4, and it still holds value. I think my cousin had it or has it, and it's still like it's hard to get hold of, so it's quite
Well, like licensed games get taken off of digital stores because licensing agreements end. So a lot of Marvel games and stuff still go up in value. So they're collector's items.
Is it Godzilla and Rampage, the original Rampage? Or a version of them?
No, that's just like a lizard
rip-off
character rip-off. Yeah. But I do remember Rampage, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember playing that when it first came out.
You'll be hearing from Toho's lawyers now, Peter. You said that.
Ben, you wanted to mention these two chaps?
I just wanted to shout out two YouTubers that I sort of use as a great source of Godzilla information. So Dean Knight 333 is an incredible kind of horror collector as well, but he's recently, very similar to me, sort of had a kind of resurgence in his Godzilla passions, and he's been picking up a lot of the X plus 30 centimeter Godzilla figures, which are very very expensive but very nice. So you can go and watch his reviews on that. And then Big Action Bill does an amazing series of really informative, like half an hour videos, basically summing up the films. So if you've watched one of the films and you're like, what did I just witness? You can go back and watch it, and he's got loads of kind of behind the scenes information and little tidbits and stuff like that. So just wanted to shout these guys out as a good source of Godzilla info.
Good stuff. Okie dokie then, chaps. So we shall move on and we'll get to our pictures. Okay, so if you haven't seen the show before, this is the part where we each basically sell out or kind of talk through our initial ideas of what our Godzilla version would be. So we'll talk a little bit about what our storyline would be. So, James, shall we start with you today?
Alrighty, so as you know, Toho is very precious about this character, and it took until 1998 for them to trust an American production company with doing one. But I thought, what if Toho wasn't so precious in the 50s? And we got an American version of Godzilla back then. So who would helm such a movie, I think? And there's only one person in my mind that could do something, and that is Mr. Edward D. Wood Jr.
Right.
So are you all familiar with Ed Wood?
Yeah.
Yes.
So
don't worry, Simon. Enjoy the ride.
Just sit back.
So the film opens up with little Timmy. So Timmy is a little boy in, I don't know, the Midwest or somewhere like that. He's out shooting guns and stuff. He's with his dad, Mr. Kurt Rogers, of course, played by the all-American Bela Lugosi, in full Dracula garb. So they're out playing on their lawn, and next thing, a flying saucer comes down, and a bunch of aliens come out. And they're like, congratulations, Earthlings. You've been selected for testing for our new formula. So they inject this formula into Earth, and it starts creating all these like crazy monsters. It starts turning like monkeys into giant monkeys, and like praying mantises start going massive. And it even turns like lizards into giant, lizard monsters. And then they fight. It's turning toasters into giant robots and stuff.
That's not a toaster.
It's pretty cool. It was a toaster.
It was a toaster, but then it got injected. Yeah. Keep up.
Now, why are these aliens injecting this thing into Earth? We don't know, and we never find out. They're never mentioned again. So,
that was on that last photo. That was Ultraman.
Not in this movie.
No.
You've got to suspend disbelief a little bit. Come on now. Have you ever watched this Come on.
So like an Ed Wood like monster brawl movie. That's sort of
Okay.
what my pitch
I
is.
like it. I
I
mean,
like
it's interesting. Yeah, Ben, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, fun fact: they did actually. They made an American version of like the original. So like they basically got like one American actor to like and inserted him in scenes and did like an American release of Godzilla where it's got like a completely different story. They like don't go into the love story and stuff like that. And
Right.
yeah, anyway. But I'm not saying that, you know, that was essentially James's idea, because James's idea was completely original and brilliant. Yeah, very good. Yeah. So
Simon,
I like the way you say aliens injected Earth. Like I'm
Into the
imagining
Earth.
with a
Yeah,
giant
just
syringe,
inject.
like
A big, that's what it's syringe. Like,
yeah.
Simon. So, I mean, having seen a bit of your presentation,
yeah,
at this point, are you starting to think that you've totally put too much time and effort into this?
maybe. But
Yeah.
that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
I was proud of this idea.
I think that's a tremendous idea. I mean, yeah, it's it would have been interesting, wouldn't it? It certainly would.
I'd
I'm
love to
just
see Bela
surprised-
Lugosi in a Godzilla
Yeah, yeah.
film.
I'm just
Mine's
surprised you
probably
went back
long.
so far. I kind of thought you might get Christian Slater in there somehow, James.
in the 50s.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm surprised you went back so far. Sure, I mean, come on. If aliens are injecting Earth, surely they can time travel Christian Slater into your story.
Be his great granddad or something.
But Christian
Yeah.
Slater doesn't exist at
David
this
Slater.
time, Peter. It's not within the movie. That doesn't make any sense. This is a movie from the perspective of Ed Wood. This
No,
is
you
an
are
Ed
right.
Wood made this movie.
I'd
any
like to
sense,
stop.
but
I
the
do
poster-
apologize. It doesn't make sense.
Within the movie, it shouldn't make sense, but the concept
Yeah.
of the movie has to make sense. Do you know what I mean?
Quite right. Quite
Yeah.
right. Very good. Very good. Very interesting, James. I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes. So interesting. Ben, shall we go to you next?
Why the fuck not?
Okie dokie. Here we go.
It's COP28, and the world leaders are gathering to help fight climate change. Well, most of them. There are various commitments for zero carbon emissions from 2030 all the way up to 2040. But it's 2023, and they are already too late. Thanks to the ever erratic, unpredictable weather and natural disasters, there's an earthquake in the North Sea of all places. Down in the blackened depths of the North Sea Ocean, there's a range of undiscovered creatures, and these creatures are caught up in the effects of this natural phenomenon. One of which has had to adapt to its surroundings, and as part of this evolution, it is adapted to feed on the most readily available food source: plastic. This creature has been consuming plastic for years now, and its initial jelly-like form has hardened over the years into a clear plastic-like substance, almost resembling a disregarded container at the bottom of the sea. But now, because of this earthquake, a creature that was before cloaked by nature has been revealed to the world. And this plastic container is 200 stories high. So, mid-conference, COP28, which, by the way, is being held in London, there's a rumble. Trying to continue on with his speech, the newest Tory leader, Jeremy Clarkson, reassures the audience. Then an aide whispers in his ear that reports have come in of a giant earthquake ripple starting from the North Sea and shattering the whole route of the Thames, climaxing in central London. It's all happened in a heartbeat with no chance of evacuation. Clarkson calls for calm in the room and obnoxiously tells people everything is under control. We have no reason to panic. Then, in that moment, the floor caves in, giving way to a giant hand. The hand is made of a clear plastic-like material, exposing the inner workings of the beast inside. Tendons and bones the size of trucks attached to this clear skin. Thousands of plastic goods, from trays to bottles with carrier bags, flowing off the knuckles and arms almost like hair. The beast picks up Clarkson as though he were the last crisp in a packet of quavers. The rest of the kaiju then rises from out of the floor, flooding miles around it with the dirty waters of the Thames. Clarkson is then dropped into the mouth of the kaiju and is crushed into mush by teeth the size of buildings. His remains then travel down the gullet of this monster, rinsed down with this oil-like saliva. This saliva drips from the side of the kaiju's mouth, and when hitting the water and surface below, burns as hot as acid. The monster lets out a cry, which can be heard as far as Leeds. London is in ruins, and all that stands is a new, terrifying symbol of Mother Nature. Introducing Net Zero. Disclaimer. This what-if idea is in no way associated or stealing from the already existing Godzilla property known as Hedorah. Hedorah was an alien and not a mutated sea creature, but yes, they both feed off pollution, and yes, they both have similar powers, and yes, I didn't realise how similar my idea was to Hedorah before putting in all the effort of writing my what-if and editing my pictures. My idea is original, and I am still the most creative and best YouTuber you know, so shut your face.
You missed out,
There's a bit of... here we go.
more
That was really long.
in the last.
That's quite...
I mean, I'm listening, Ben. I am listening, but all I can see is GP Venom's comment that it's Godzilla. You know,
It's not discriminating or choosing one. You know that he's got Asda bags, Tesco bags, Waitrose bags,
all the bags,
Co-op
all
bags,
the
all the
yeah.
bags flowing off his
Bags for life.
Hi, Andy. Bags for life.
life,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
They're the worst.
Hi, Luke. So, well, that was interesting. I like
There's a
that
lot
one.
to take in,
We'll
that.
come to you, Simon. Lots to unpack on that one. What do you think of that?
I like it. Yeah, definitely. You know, Jeremy Clarkson for PM. I don't know, but you know, it was intriguing. Yeah.
Worst things have happened. Let's be honest. Also, I just wanted to see him get eaten. I just wanted him to be eaten
True,
alive. Like
true.
that was.
Yeah. What about you, James? What do you think?
It was so good. I was there thinking, why haven't Toho done a character similar to this? And then the disclaimer at the end, you know.
Yeah.
No, I do like it.
The disclaimer.
Bloody Hedorah.
Unbelievable.
I like the kind of, you know, it's an updated the updated symbolism of it, like instead of, you know, nuclear warfare, it's you know, environmental damage and stuff. I think that's, you know, it's cool. I like the design of it. I think it's a cool idea.
I loved it. I thought it was a great idea, Ben. I think the idea of tying it into pollution and all the rest of it, I think was superb. So yeah, I thought that was
Thank
a
you,
really,
guys.
really interesting one. Okay, Simon, I think we'll keep you till last
Okay.
because it's your kind of shining moment of glory, and I'm not sure if the technology will work. So so we'll crack on with mine. And I haven't got fancy videos like Ben. I'm just going to talk through mine. So my Godzilla, I struggled with this one. I have to be honest, guys. It's a bit like when we did Ghostbusters. I couldn't quite get my head around it because Ghostbusters and Godzilla are very, very good properties that can't really be improved. But then, surprise, surprise, an idea kind of jumped into my head. Godzilla. Huh? Godzilla. Still out black. Really, no, I'm just taking the piss. I didn't do Godzilla, but I thought that would be a cool concept.
Oh, why not? You've got us all there now, and I want to know more about Godzilla.
Surprise, surprise.
Amazing.
I
behind
painted
this
that myself,
curtain.
by the way. I painted that myself. Yeah. No. So mine is pinching an idea that myself and James talked about briefly in the car, and I promised.
You son of a bitch! We agreed not.
You son of a bitch!
We agreed not to take that idea because we were talking and we were like, oh, you know,
There's no contract, James. There's no contract.
So, in the beginning, there was nothing, as we know, and then there was the Big Bang, created by gods or God or whatever you want to call it, and these creatures basically created free will and man, and over the decades, centuries, millennia, they watched the progression of man go from nothing to modern day variants. And during that time, they saw such marvels as love, art, exploration, and all that kind of jazz. But they also saw man's evils. They saw murder, death, racism, greed, gluttony, and they decided that this was all just a massive piss take. They'd spent all this time and effort into giving humanity a chance, and basically would ballsed it up. A bit like Ben's idea, would basically screwed the planet and screwed everything around it. So the Council of Gods assembled and decided that the experiment of man was over. They've decided that time's moved on, and now they no longer want us to exist. So they sent upon the earth Godzilla. So God's wrath on earth, the Zilla being the giant creatures that they sent down. Godzilla attacked the planet and, as you can see, wiped out most of mankind, progressing from city to city, destroying everything in sight. The creature was absolutely unstoppable and basically destroyed the earth. Or did it? And that's the end of my pitch.
Oh, okay.
What do you think? Would you have preferred Godzilla?
I was ready for Godzilla, yeah. The world's not ready for Godzilla. No, I really like the simple play on the terminology of like gods, plural, Zilla, like it belongs to the gods. I really like that idea. So
it's a bit like them doing Noah's Ark, isn't it? Sending, instead of Noah's Ark, they sent Godzilla.
That's exactly what I was going for, Simon.
Biblical plague.
Yeah. I didn't make that link, but now you've said it. That's exactly what I was.
What did they send? Locusts? The locusts and stuff. So
there is one of the Millennium Godzilla films. They changed the kind of lore, and he had the spirit of all the like Japanese soldiers, and it was like a vengeance. He was like a spirit to get vengeance, sort of thing.
I don't remember that one.
I think it's it's one of the Millennium ones. I can't remember. It's the one where his eyes are like white. It's got like fully whited out eyes.
Show his eyes white there again, Ben. You did a funny thing with your face. Oh, that's good.
Screen grab.
But no, I really like that idea, Peter. I got to say. So, I mean, I don't know how much of that was James in the car.
Mine was literally God, but it's Godzilla. Like God in heaven.
God is Godzilla.
Yeah, like Godzilla. Okay. It was an offhand comment, and
play on words.
I should have held on to that. Yeah. So do I actually.
What did you think of me pitch, James? What did you think?
I really liked it. I liked the biblical kind of element of it. Some of the imagery there was cool. I don't know if like the Godzilla over the earth was you're photoshopping or you just.
Yeah, I did that. I put the
that was a really cool image. I really like that. I dig it.
Oh, you dig it. Oh, I like that. Thank you very much. Simon?
I dig it. A jab.
Yeah, I mean, he destroys the whole earth, though. So, like,
well, he's on his way. He's on his way.
Or does he?
On his way.
Or
does he? Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Right, Simon.
And that's where this show is so brilliant, because we have the audience.
It works. Nice.
10 looks. Right, Simon.
Okay.
So we're going to go with yours. We are sharing screens, I believe. Now, I can't see very well what you guys can see.
So we're going to go to at least slide 11, Peter. Yeah, in this.
Okay.
That's my pitch, and then the rest will be my hook. Okay, so
tell us when you want to move on.
Godzilla, King of the Monsters, presented by Toho. There we go. Okay, so next slide, please, Peter. And mine is, what if Godzilla was a Pokemon?
I love it already. This is... I love it already.
Wait, he's not.
You win.
So, next slide.
First time on the show, and I think he's won already.
So, we know how Godzilla was created. They were doing nukes and testing. So, the start of my story is where Godzilla sort of starts off. So, we're starting with the nukes, and then all beyond, next slide, baby Godzilla is born on Sonogel Island. And this is a picture of baby Godzilla, and he was born in 1998. And so the story is this is where baby Godzilla comes from, and where he starts. And then basically our shall we say antagonist comes in, and next slide please, Peter. A young boy called Kenta meets baby Godzilla. And then obviously this new boy called Kenta is a Pokemon trainer. And so he meets baby Godzilla, and the first thing he does is he wants to capture it. So he throws his Pokeballs. Next slide, please, Peter. And he captures baby Godzilla. And then he names it Deathsaw. Okay, so next slide. And training starts. So this is where, Kenta needs to help baby Godzilla evolve and level up. So the first thing we all do, and as a Pokemon trainer, what do we do when we try to level up our Pokemon? We battle. So next slide, please, Peter. And Kenta knows this. The only way to level up is through battle. And so he goes on a journey. And on that journey, he goes, and next slide, and fights Team Rocket. And destroys and defeats Team Rocket. And so, yeah, that's what he does. Battles and battles and battles. And then on the next slide, baby Godzilla levels up and becomes Deathsaw, aka Godzilla levels to Godzilla Jr. And then obviously, after that, next slide, please. This is where my sort of pitch ends. World War III is started. The Kaiju War starts in the year 2000. The world makes Jaegers and to help defend against the threat. But little do they know that Japan has a secret Pokemon trainer.
Did World War II happen in the world of Pokemon?
Does now.
Did Jaegers happen in the world of Pokemon? No.
Good point. Very good point.
I have to say, I think that was brilliant, Simon. I think for your first attempt
good job.
on this show, that was very good. Very, very good indeed. What did you think? We'll go to you first, Ben.
Yeah, I love Godzilla and I love Pokemon, so how can I not love this?
Ben, is that face just kind of seething rage? That
No, it's good. I do hate Godzilla Jr. though, so that's the one downfall.
Why do you hate Godzilla Jr.?
Oh, nobody got time for Godzilla Jr. Man. I just do not need that in my Godzilla films. But yes, actually, that being said, I like Godzilla Jr. in Godzilla vs. Destroyer because he's kind of like a little bit older and Anyway, I really liked it. As I said, I love Pokemon, love Godzilla. So what's not to love? You did a great job. I like all the little animations and some of the photoshops and stuff like that. So good swing at the bat.
Good show, Simon. Good show. James, what are you thinking?
I mean, obviously he had me at Pokemon. It's a tragedy that you couldn't put the Pokemon theme song behind it because I would have been like, into
it.
I want to.
I mean,
copyright claim would be into it as well.
Absolutely loved it. Yeah, captivating.
Yeah, great stuff, Simon. Really, really enjoyed that. Okay, guys. So as usual, 4 very different pictures, some interesting stuff there. What we're going to do now is look at the world. Okay, guys. So this is the bit where basically we'll try and kill some time and tell people about what's coming up on our channels. But whilst we're doing that, we'll draw a little something. Now, you're notoriously bad for ignoring it, so I'm going to give you about 5 minutes to do this. But when I tell you to stop, we'll have to stop. And on this one, I just simply want you to draw Godzilla. It can be any kind of Godzilla you want, any flavor of Godzilla you want, whatever you want. Just draw as a Godzilla, and we will start now. James T, tell us a little bit about what's happening on your channel and what's going on in your world at the moment.
I am currently writing a video about. I've been in a big Marvel games mood lately for some reason. Literally, the last few days I've been playing Guardians of the Galaxy, and I platinumed it already. So I'm going to do
that. Sorry, James. Tell me a little bit about the Guardians game because it looked brilliant. Some of the images you sent.
So I've been messing around with photo mode a lot. There's a lot of cool cool images. But yeah, it's kind of I kind of ignored it when it came out because the stink of Avengers was kind of still around. It was by the same company.
No, I didn't
It's
know
really
that.
it's really fantastic. Like you just play as Star-Lord, but you can kind of command the other Guardians in combat. It's got a really great story with a lot of heart to it. Like it's clear that the developers have a lot of love for the IP. A lot of cool like Marvel Easter eggs as well. So yeah, brilliant game. It's kind of a shame that it didn't, as far as I'm aware, sell very well. So it's not like we're going to get a sequel or anything. But that's been a really cool one. So yeah, I'm gonna do a Marvel. Everything Marvel has in development at the moment, like game wise, video. So that'll be next week, hopefully at some point. And then maybe like a top 5 Marvel games or something.
Right.
So that's for the next 2 videos. And then I have an end of the year PlayStation wrap up video I do yearly as well. So that'll be in December.
Good stuff. So you mentioned Guardians there. Have we all watched the Guardians Christmas special now?
Yes,
Not
indeed.
yet.
You not watched it, Simon?
I'm savouring it.
I kind of wish I had, to be honest. I kind of wish I'd watched it Christmas Eve.
Yeah, it's a Christmas movie, so I want to savor it more towards Christmas and watch it with the family.
Yeah. So, without spoilers, then, what did you think, Ben?
It just pure joy packaged into a 45-minute piece of Marvel media. Like it perfectly extended the lore of like the Guardians. You know, kind of it really bumped up characters in terms of their kind of backstories and relationships and stuff like that, and just sort of, but even if you take away all of that kind of MCU stuff, it was just like a lovely holiday short film, kind of like The Snowman is like 45-50 minutes. Like it's just that pure kind of joy, loveliness, like Christmas. Yeah, absolutely phenomenal. I loved it. And I've finally got, like, obviously she's had her cameos, but like Cosmo is in my life properly now. So I'm very, very happy. And
in the comics, because I can't remember, was Cosmo a boy or a girl in the comics?
Well, I always read it as a bloke, and I think there's lines where they like calling him a good boy and stuff like that. But like James Gunn made a really good point. Like when obviously when it got announced, people were upset and stuff. But he was like, if you look into the dog that Russia sent out to space, it was actually a female dog. Apparently,
right. Yeah,
I quite like that. I quite like that comeback.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I think she just brought so much life to it, and just really excited to see where that character goes in the third film.
I hope to see more as well with Cosmo. I do, because I thought really good.
Oh, she'll be part of the team in the third film, like properly now. I think because this was obviously filmed kind of back to back, and she's very much part of the team now. So yeah, good times.
Ben, what have you got coming up on your channel?
Yes, so I've gone a bit Godzilla mad today, and I've posted a little showcase video on my sort of Bandai retro Godzilla figure there, and also just a little flick through the official guide. So they're up on my channel, and there's quite a few shorts on there where I basically just tried to sort of give some reviews in under a minute on some recent stuff. So like Wakanda Forever, the Wednesday series, what else? Andor. So yeah,
Wednesdays.
That's all up there.
Wednesday's amazing, by the way.
Is it a series or is it a film? Or
Series.
Series, yeah.
Okay.
It's really good, and the
I've
dance
seen a
scene
clip of her
there.
dancing, and it was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Was it the Yuka or whatever he does, the Hushka? What's it called?
No, it's not. But it's up there. She
choreographed that herself. She did.
They've really created some iconic little bits in there. For me, I say it in my review, but my love of Addams Family is always the comedy is in the interaction with normal people.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that's what makes and when the normal people are so bad, it makes the Addams Family look normal. Like that's the comedy, and that's what has always drawn me into the Addams Family. And the problem with the Wednesday series is it's very much a kind of cardboard cutout, you know, Buffy, Sabrina, kind of
Yeah.
supernatural teen drama. And whilst like Jenny Ortega is incredible, like it doesn't feel like an Addams Family thing to me, but
Yeah.
I did love. There's a lot to love about it.
I'll definitely give it a go. Guys, I'm going to give you one moment. Has anybody got anything else they want to add about their channel? Simon, are we sorted on a channel for you yet?
Not yet, Peter. I'm still, well, my channel's created. I just need to do my first video, so people
Okay.
can go and subscribe and like my channel. It's there.
So what is the address then, Simon? Because I looked to link you in this video, but I can't find you.
It should be Comic Lad Simon. Let me just check if it's up.
I don't know if it's going to show up until
You have
there's
to
a
post
video
the first
posted.
video for it to show.
Ah, right.
Yeah, it
I
should
think
be.
it won't. It probably won't show up like at
Okay.
all. Like if you're
Interesting.
searching for it.
Right, guys, 10 seconds.
Mother, it's never enough.
No.
James has stopped 10 minutes ago.
I mean, it's not going to get any better. I'm actively making it worse by continuing. So I'm just dropping that while I'm ahead.
What's he doing? What's Ben doing?
I'm just copying the Japanese.
Oh, that's cheating. That is. He's
That's
using
cheating.
the reference.
That's disqualified.
Godzilla.
Disqualified.
Peter,
That's
you're going to have to start
terrifying.
cracking the whip here. They're still drawn. It's not
Still,
fair.
they're never still drawn, are they?
I
I can
know,
hear
right?
markers going like.
No.
Simon, Jason's just saying that your channel should show up. We'll have to have
Should
a
it?
look after this because I couldn't
Okay.
find it. Maybe it's just something. Okie dokie, guys. So let's see what you've got. James, I can barely contain my excitement. Let's start with you, mate. What have you got?
I hate this segment.
Awesome,
I love
man,
it.
Awesome.
I love it. Look at it. Ben,
So-
look at it.
I see it. I like it.
I did, just so you know, there's a little
Yeah.
little like Japanese flag on the thing, just so you know.
I did
that
think
it's
that.
Okay.
Yes, I see that
Japan.
now.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, buildings, are they? Yeah, very good. Very good. I
Thank
like
you.
it. Ben,
Hello.
stop rolling.
He's still doing it.
Oh, Godzilla.
Oh, fuck
Oh,
off.
that looks good.
That's that is.
How are you draw so quick and good like that? He's
Uh,
got the correct
quick.
pens, that's
I
why.
don't know about the latter. But yeah,
That's
What does
tremendous.
that the symbol say? You actually, is that what you were like?
it's Godzilla. Yeah, it's just
Godzilla. Okay. Cool.
Tremendous, tremendous. Simon, you're up next.
Okay.
Oh,
Son of
very
a-
good.
Nice.
Son of a-
Colours.
Simon, I was counting on you to be
What are you counting on me for?
bad, so that I'm
Be
not
bad.
always the worst one.
Very impressive, Simon. Very impressive. You're racing your first appearance.
He's smashing it.
Look at that.
Oh, nice.
He has nice colouring.
So
That's the
good.
original.
Come for the
I
cartoon.
don't think in the cartoon he did he do the blue breath in the cartoon?
No, it's fire. I think.
Yeah, I thought
yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
I thought it was. So mine's historically incorrect. To apologize.
I must have got dropped on my head as a kid or something. I don't know what happened.
Yeah. Everybody show the pictures for the thumbnail. James looked disappointed. Tremendous. Okie dokie. Thank you very much, guys. Some good imagery there as usual. We'll crack straight on. Can I just say hello to Jason Parker? He's joined the chat there. Thanks for joining, Jason. Okay, so next we will move on to our hook, which is the kind of the accumulation of our story and the big event. Right then, so we will start with Simon's just putting in the chat he's Comic Lad 9658 runs off the tongue, Simon. Okay, we'll put that on the what you call it, the description of this video for people to have a look at. Okay, I don't know if I can copy that and put it up on screen, but we'll have a look in a bit. Okay, so James T, we started with you last time, didn't we? So
Yep.
You can crack on where it starts.
Right, so of course all these crazy monsters they're fighting away. That they've wrought destruction on the planet, right? But there's this one standing at the end, of course. It's Godzilla. So at the Americans decide we'll just nuke him. And it kills him. It actually kills Godzilla. And basically at the ending, Kurt and Timmy are watching the mushroom cloud, and Kurt gives a little speech about how, like, Timmy's like, gee willikers, it's a good thing we had that nuclear weapon. And Kurt's all like, well, as long as nuclear weapons are in the hands of the American government, I think they're a good thing.
Brilliant.
And then roll credits. So, because of course in the 50s, America would support nuclear weapons instead of Japan.
Maybe not just in the 50s as well, I'd say.
Well, possibly throughout history then. So it's a counterpoint. It's almost like an opponent to the original movie's message. So
very good. Boom. Mic drop from James. What do you think of that, Simon?
Yeah. I still don't know who the vampire is or.
It's Bela Lugosi. He plays Dracula in the original Dracula movie. He was a recurring guest
monster actor.
Right.
Particularly in Ed Wood's movies later
Never
on
watched
in his life.
them, so.
Never watched it?
No,
Wow.
no.
Yeah, classic. Ben, what did you think of that?
Yeah. I actually, okay, between us both, I wasn't so keen on the first part, right? But the ending made it, because I love the idea that it kind of turned into like an American propaganda piece of like the 50s.
Yeah.
And I think it's almost like I'd kind of like to see that made now, and them to almost make it like a parody of like an America fuck yeah version of Godzilla sort of thing. Like, so yeah, I like that a lot.
Good stuff. Okay, very well done, James. Very well done, mate. You always bring the interesting stories. Ben, you're up next. You're still drawing, aren't you? We've finished the drawing bit.
Just wanted to colour him. I wanted to colour him.
Do it on your own time.
Yeah. I don't pay you the colour. Do you know what I mean?
Roll VT and then I can colour.
Yeah, we'll go.
With the majority of Britain in ruins and the surrounding islands' inhabitants all suffering a strange illness where blisters cover the body, letting out an oily plastic-like liquid, ultimately leading to death. Nothing the military throw at this thing works. Something needs to be done, and the UN has agreed on an extreme and what some might deem crazy idea to combat it. Spearheaded by Rando Yaguchi, the UN have arranged for the frozen in stasis Shin Godzilla to be transported over to England and unfrozen, essentially aiming the nuclear disaster of 2016 at net zero. It's
Shin Godzilla versus Net Zero.
An epic world-ending battle ensues between the two, with Godzilla victorious. Problem is, the tech that was on standby to refreeze Godzilla was destroyed in the fight. Shin is craving some food and feeds on all things nuclear, so his next stop is Russia, setting up the third installment of the trilogy, From Godzilla with Love. Not sure about that one. Maybe Godzilla, the Cold War. Yeah, that's better.
Love the music.
I love it. Do we get a scene in that one with Godzilla doing the rah rah Rasputin dance? Because
it's the finale. Yeah, it's the finale.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, Simon, what did you think of Ben's?
Yeah, I absolutely love it. Yeah. I was wondering, like, what was going to happen with a bin bag creature. So,
his name is Net Zero, Simon.
Yeah, how dare you?
Yeah, the bin bag creature. Yeah. James, what do you think?
I like the climax of it. I like Godzilla in Russia. I think that's a really cool idea that they haven't, as far as I'm aware, haven't done yet. Yeah, I'd love it.
Very good. Very
it's
good.
A great all-round idea, I think.
Yeah. A rounded pitch. I like that, Ben. Thank you. Okie dokie. So, on to mine. Where do we get to? Okay, so Godzilla Part 2. So Godzilla has now been merrily jaunting around the planet, destroying everything in sight and wiping out man. And what we've discovered is that our modern weapons have got no effect on him at all because he is made by the gods. He's impervious to bullets and all that kind of jazz. So the governments of the world turn to the world's best weapons designer, Tony Stark in Stark Industries, and they ask him to design something that's got the power to take on Godzilla. Tony designs Ironzilla. What's the matter? What's the matter? Part of the law, Mechazilla, isn't it? So he does that. And can I just say, I did that myself. I painted that myself again.
Couldn't tell.
Couldn't tell. That's good. So Tony designs Ironzilla, which is powered by 100 nuclear reactors. Just made that bit up.
The art
Anyway.
reactor just
Yeah.
told me then.
Ironzilla goes to battle with Godzilla.
This actually looks quite good.
I'm telling you, man, I'm
Zilla
all
Buster.
The battle is furious, and Tony realizes that he doesn't have the stamina or the power to finally take on Godzilla. So, with one final burst of energy, he pulls everything into his final attack and blasts Godzilla. Disaster. There's an explosion, and it kills everybody in Europe. I just picked Europe off the top of my head. Wipes out everybody. But, hurrah, Godzilla is destroyed. The gods, however, are absolutely furious. Zeus is proper pissed off, and he decides, fair enough, if one Zilla wasn't enough, he's going to send all of God's Zillas. See? The extra S on the end there.
Whoa, that's cool.
And that's the next movie, Godzillas. And that's the end of my pitch. Right then, what do we think of that? Just say masterpiece, that's fine.
Should have called it the Zilla Buster.
You just copy it off Highland G. Zilla
I didn't even see that.
It's the trick there. I like Marvel. I like Godzilla. You know,
Match
what
made
go
in
wrong,
heaven,
can you?
isn't it? Yeah.
Has like Tony Stark ever done like a kaiju sized Iron Man
I
suit
think
before?
there was a series of comics recently, wasn't there, where I think he built all the Avengers, like
Yeah, they all have
massive
like a
suits.
mech thing.
Yeah.
Mech
They did it with the
Avengers or
Justice
whatever.
League a few years back. Was it called Shogun Steel or something? I can't remember. But wasn't there a series of giant robots in the Marvel universe? That might have been
There's
Shogun
Transformers
Warriors.
wasn't it, in the Marvel universe? Didn't they fight Transformers?
No, I don't think so.
They did. There is a comic with Marvel Transformers. I know.
No, yeah, Marvel originally had the Transformers line, but I don't think they
Right.
fought. I think Spider-Man was in an issue, and then they lost the rights to them or something.
Okay.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. Okie dokie. So, moving on. Simon, let's see if we can get this share screen thing working again.
Okay. So, World War III is all out, and we started. Next slide, please, Peter. So it's 2022. World War's been happening with the kaijus and the Jaegers, and they're fighting and fighting. And we're 6 months into 2022. Okay. And then, so all little Kenta, so he's been busy leveling up. And next slide, please, Peter. They need more training, more and more training to level up his Death Saw. So Kenta loves the thrill for battle, and so he decides to take Death Saw and to attack America. So next slide, please, Peter. On arriving, so there he is guided and has to attack a load of Jaegers on America's shores. So this is where Godzilla / Death Saw will come on his own, and he defeats the Jaegers. Next slide. And there we are. So the Jaegers get all defeated by Godzilla. And he's also in battle with the Kaiju. But as we all know, Godzilla is the king of monsters. Next slide. And there we go. So Godzilla is the king of monsters. But, okay, this is the next one. But is he the king of monsters? What's America going to do? Because all the Jaegers are gone. So there's one last hope. Next slide. The Dragon Zord. Power Rangers come in to save the day. And this is the last hope. And then next slide. There we go.
Very good. Very good, Simon. I like that. I like that. So what did you think of that, Ben?
Yeah, I think it's a touching tribute for Jason David Frank. So random at the end then.
I
But
think
yeah,
you would appreciate
RIP.
that, Simon. You would.
He would.
Yeah.
I like Power Rangers. And I like Godzilla.
You really should have Stuffa your cat. You know, because you're basically playing Harry Hill this episode, aren't you?
Oh god, yeah. No, I haven't actually read that recent comic, the Godzilla Power Rangers sort of crossover thing. But it's certainly whet the appetite for that. But yeah, no, good stuff. Yeah, you've done
Very,
so well.
very
Like considering it's your first time, like you know.
What do you think, James?
Strayed a bit too far from the Pokemon of it all, I think.
Oh.
In the end, there, but
I know, but I had to do a nice tribute.
I think you did seamlessly weave into the Power Rangers thing. So yeah, it was a great go.
Yeah, I thought that was amazing, Simon. I really did. I think you hit a lot of nostalgia buttons there, so well done for that. And as Ben said, really, really good first attempt. Okay, ladies and gents, so that's the end of our versions of Godzilla. Again, this show always shows an awful lot of creativity, so thank you very much. Oh, God, look at Ben. How would Ben put it up?
Done. Show off.
Go on.
Well done.
Very good.
Do you want to clap or something?
Slow clap.
James, let's
Everybody
just
give him a round of applause.
James, show us yours again, right?
No, I'm not doing it, Peter. Okay. No.
So like I say, this show always has a lot of creativity, and I really do thank you for your time and effort. Thank you to everybody that's been in the chat. We've had quite a bit of chat going backwards and forwards. I've not put much up on this episode, so I apologize for that. But thank you to everybody that joined. A few things to mention. We've got a whole host of YouTube live shows. We've got this week in Metropolis tomorrow night live show. It's their 100th episode. Myself and a few of the other guys will be on that at some point. We've then got the Nerd Herd on Wednesday, Killer Comic Show Thursday, and Grey Man on Saturday. So please do check out those shows. On this channel, next Monday, we've got Let's Talk Toys, where I'll be joined by you guys.
Gosh, that's come around.
Yeah. So we'll be talking all things action figures, 1/6 scale games, computer games, all that kind of jazz. So looking forward to that. After that, we've got on the 12th of December, we're going to do a What You Watching special where we're going to look at Phase 4 of the Marvel Universe in general, all the shows, talking about what we think worked, what didn't work, and overall score for the overall phase. That should be interesting. There's a lot of negativity about Phase 4, but actually when you go back and look at some of the shows, me and James were talking about this the other day. Yeah, there's some really good stuff in there. So be interested to get everybody's thoughts on that. After that, Saturday, 17th of December, we've got our Hot Comics Hotter Sources Challenge. Jason's confirmed he's going to be coming on that now. He's got the sources. I got them sent to him the other day. I cannot wait. We'll have a chat about that. Basically, on that show, guys, we're going to be talking about comic book related news and things like that. Nothing in depth. Just each of will bring something different to talk about.
Definitely not in depth.
Yeah, and we'll have some sources whilst we're doing it.
I've seen other people do these on YouTube. It never goes well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say who. But we've moved it from a Monday night to a Saturday so that it gives us time to recover the next day. And we don't crap ourselves, basically, I think.
No, you can say it was me. I can't take that risk with work. Clear my diary. That's what I said to my wife.
Get the milk on hand.
So that's going to be a fun show. I'm really, really looking forward to that one.
So what are you going to pour? Are you going to have like chicken and pour it on chicken?
No, we're going to do shots.
Shot? Oh, that's
Nice.
worse.
No, we're not. Oh. We're gonna dip some chicky nuggies into the hot sauce of things.
I'm not calling them that.
I don't want to see a show where James is dipping his chicky nuggies and things. We'll have chicken nuggets.
I heard somebody actually call it chicky nuggies like in the last couple of days. Somebody
To a baby?
No.
Was it porno? Anyway,
no.
Moving on. So last show of this year is going to be a Christmas hangout. where I'm going to get as many of one screen as we possibly can. We're going to talk all things Christmas, just do some general wrap-ups of the year. And I've got a whole host of comics I want to give away. So I've got a pile of books, and I've also got some comics from my videos from a while ago that I said I would give away. So that'll be on the 19th of December, just a bit of a hangout and give away some presents and things. And that's it. That's your whack. So can I again just thank everybody for taking part, thank everybody that's in the chat, and we will see you next week for our we'll see you next week for Boys and the Toys. So if everyone can do the best Godzilla impression,